What's 100% a scam but we accepted it in our society? Story 1.
As an academic scientist, pick one of these two. We use taxpayer money to fund biomedical research, which we then write up into a research study and pay the journal so that they can publish the said study, only for the journals to turn around and put them behind a paywall. We also use taxpayer money to fund years of biomedical research, which occasionally results in a groundbreaking drug/treatment, which then gets licensed out, usually by a pharma company, which then marks up the price and turns around and charges the taxpayer an absurd amount of money to use the said drug. Edit, additional salt to the wound. Do you guys know Moderna, which made the mRNA COVID vaccine, and the NIH, the federal institute that performed initial preclinical research on the mRNA vaccine and also literally funded the research, are in a patent dispute over the vaccine?
Story 2.
Lots of research done with grant money, which is funded by taxpayers, and then private companies get exclusivity to the research to take it to market. If you wanted access to that free research for your company, too bad. It's even leveled up: special club varieties of fruits and veggies, licensing of varieties from private companies who got it researched or bred from public universities with grant money.
Story 3.
My Enbridge gas bill has a service fee, customer fee, convenience fee, paper bill fee, storage fee, delivery charge, other random hidden fees, and then the actual gas. I could shut my gas off, not use any at all, and my bill would still be at least $52 per month. It's absolute bullshit, but because Canada is run by monopolies and oligarchs, we have no choice. It's that or freeze to death. But honestly, I'm ready to riot. If I saw a literal mob going down my street with signs protesting this shit, I would 100% without a second thought grab my pitchfork from my shed and join. This shit should have changed decades ago.
Story 4. Arbitration clauses in almost every service provider contract, tricking you into giving up your access to the court system. Nobody talks about it, but they should. A lot of employers make you sign arbitration agreements too. Story 5.
I worked at a restaurant that actually enforced the 30-minute break, and that was more miserable than restful. During the Christmas holidays, it would be too busy to take the break at a reasonable time, so I'd have to take it right before or at closing time. So, get your ass hooped for 8 hours, take 30, and then come back with zero energy or motivation. I would ask if they could just add a random break so I could keep closing and go home, because I worked 2 jobs and would have to do it again the next day. They wouldn't.
Story 6.
TurboTax. They lobby the government to make it difficult to do taxes without their software. I lived in the UK and it took literally 15 minutes to do taxes on bad government software.
Story 7.
Yeah, paying $200 for a required physical book, in order to read the required 1/10 of it, and then the college makes it obsolete the next year even though it's only 1 year old, so you can't even sell it to the next students, not even IT books, which I could maybe understand, but history/English/physics books, which never change.
Story 8.
Paying hundreds of dollars per month for health insurance, and then insurance not paying for anything until you've hit your deductible, usually thousands of dollars per year. And then after hitting your deductible, insurance only paying for a certain percentage of your care until the end of the year, until your deductible resets, and you pay out of pocket all over again until you hit the deductible, and even after hitting the deductible your insurance is fighting tooth and nail not to cover anything.
Story 9.
I noticed when I was in jail for a short period of time, they serve things by Conagra Foods. I remember Conagra Foods being served in school, too. Don't know why that popped into my head.
Story 10.
Me and my fiancé are, thankfully, on the same page and are skipping all of that. We're getting married at City Hall and then taking our family out for a nice dinner afterwards. A fancy dinner with drinks for like 18 people is still going to be cheaper than what I'd expect just a wedding dress alone to cost, much less the whole wedding. This is the way. My elopement is going to be kind of expensive because we're doing it on a beach in Hawaii and hiring a photographer, but even then, the ceremony, outfits, flowers, and photos together are less than $1,500. The rest of the expenses are just for the vacation we wanted anyway. Not one single person is invited. Even crazier, a couple spending thousands on a party, then expecting their guests to pay money, as a gift, to attend the party. It's an overly expensive party with an overly expensive entrance fee. It just doesn't make any logical sense to throw an expensive wedding, while it's seen as the most obvious and normal thing.
Story 11.
That our tax dollars are being put to good use. The military is the big waster of taxpayer money. It's ridiculous. When I was in 1996 to 2016, I saw so much waste. big screen TVs everywhere, new office chairs, and on and on.
Story 12.
Military spending is pretty much a duopoly of a jobs program and an re-election slush fund for congresspeople, doling out contracts to a handful of well-connected contractor corporations who rake in guaranteed profits.
Story 13.
A family friend paid for my fiancée to see a homeopathy guy due to ongoing health issues she's had. Nothing to lose, so I took her to see him. His office looked like it hadn't been cleaned in years. He put a pair of headphones on her head and ran a silly program on his computer and told her it was scanning her brain, then tried to sell her about 7 bottles of herbal supplements for hundreds of dollars. The level of bullshit in that place was incredible, yet we saw 2 other patients go through while we were there.
Story 14.
College, most of the time you're paying to teach yourself. Property taxes, if not taxes in general, nothing makes less sense than the seizure and sale of everything in your possession for failure to pay taxes unrelated to said property. Purchase price is really just a privilege fee, you own nothing.
Story 15.
As a seller they take large cut, I used them and paid 14% fees. I just stopped what I was doing because of that, and as a customer, they're always against you in favor of sellers because they get the fees from them mentioned above. They're against you even if the seller scammed you. I am writing this during a claim with PayPal about a seller that didn't even start shipping my item even after the due delivery date. After I don't need the item anymore because it's past the time I needed it, they refuse. I want to cancel. PayPal is siding with them, but I am involving the bank to stick a finger in the ass of PayPal and the seller.
Story 16.
I think Adobe was one of the first to do it. I originally would have paid about £400 for all the software. As a student anyway, that's already a lot. But I owned it all. Now I'm basically paying £600 a year for it. Sure, it might get all the latest updates and features, which are now getting better and better, but it's still a lot. I cancel. I lose everything or have to find an ancient copy of the software. Unfortunately, the fact they can just rake in money now monthly means it's not changing back. The only things this is good for is places that do monthly subscriptions, paying as you go each month. I download as much music/SFX/video clips/templates etc. as I can and make the most of that month of downloads, then I don't need anything else from them for ages, if ever. There are so many good photo editing programs out there besides Photoshop. Some classic open source/free options are GIMP and Krita. There are also plenty of paid software options where you buy the product instead of pay for a subscription like Procreate for $13. Apple products only. Clip Studio Paint for $50. My personal favorite, Luminar AI for $47/$128. Corel Paint Shop Pro for $80. Paint Tools Sai for $52. And many more.